la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la.
The event we're having tonight, honoring women, is one of the biggest things we've ever had. This wouldn't have happened 50 years ago. We had men presidents, we had men rabbis, we had men cantors. It just wouldn't have happened.
Judaism was the first to accept women to be rabbis, cantors, leaders, presidents of their temples.
I happened to have been bat mitzvahed the same day that Sally Prezand, the first Jewish woman rabbi, was ordained. You know, that was a seminal moment. No one had ever been a woman rabbi.
I think that Judaism has remarkable models of women who are both strong and capable and compassionate. Certainly the matriarchs of our religion in the Bible exemplify that.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Blessed is God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Borei peri hagafen.
There was a need for reforms congregation in Hollywood. They wanted a temple that was more social action, social responsibility, rather than ritual. And my folks agreed with that. My very earliest visit to temple, I wasn't even born yet. My mother was pregnant with me. I was really here the whole time.
My role model was my bubby Sonia. She's 103. And she left during the pogroms. She was 7 years old. She was the oldest of 3 children. So she has really only had a formal education until she was about 7 years old. But she's at 103, still learning every day.
My mother and my grandma Charlotte were and still are my role models. Neither of them are still living, but they're alive in our home every day. In the things, in the rituals that I do with my kids and the way I try and live my life. We didn't have a lot of religion, but in the kitchen, I always say in the kitchen we were devout. And it was with my mother and grandmother in the kitchen that I felt most Jewish.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Adonai Eloheinu
Blessed is God, ruler of the universe, creator of all the spices.
Borei mine
Ruler of the universe, creator of all the spices.
Borei mine v'samim.
I have a very strong memory of my folks taking me to hear Rabbi Nussbaum's first lecture here. That was a big thing. It's a very important thing in our lives. And I can't tell you what his sermon was about, but he was very handsome, and Ruth was very beautiful. I felt that he brought us into the world. We felt we were part of the world after that.
I feel it's an obligation as a Jew to help others, that I really do believe that one person can affect the world.
I would like Philip and Laura to learn from what I've done, that it's never enough to just be for yourself in the world, that being a whole human being is about making a commitment to others. It's about working with other people to change the world for the better.
The first place I ever got involved at Temple Israel on a volunteer basis was with the Lunch Project. It's a program sponsored by Sisterhood. The women of Sisterhood shop for, cook, prepare, and serve lunch to patients at the AIDS clinic at USC. And now that I've had time to think about it, I realize it really was a natural fit because it's an environment where women, young and old, are gathering in the kitchen sharing recipes and helping people, healing people.
Even though at times in my life where I have been more troubled or had difficult things going on at work, I never gave up working in nonprofits or outside of my work life, because that side of my life is so much more fulfilling.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la.
Blessed is God, ruler of
Baruch
the universe,
atah
creator of the
Adonai
light and fire.
Eloheinu
Eloheinu
melech
Blessed is the Lord our God,
haolam
ruler of the universe, creator of the
Borei
light and fire.
meorei ha'esh Borei meorei ha'esh.
In 61, I became Sisterhood president. And then in, I guess it was 64, we had the Capers, which we put on a Broadway production, really very professional. Oh, that's me. Rabbi Nussbaum's next to me, and Irving Briskin's in there too. And then, of course, naturally, as president, I got the credit because we did a lot of work. And he appointed me to the Board of Trustees, which was a very big deal in those days because very few women were on the board. There were only a couple ever on the Board of Trustees.
Bernie, my husband, and I one day went to visit Temple Israel after the kids graduated from Temple, and we looked at this poor, unfortunate temple that was just a ragamuffin. We promised ourselves that we would help the temple become what it had when it first began.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamavdil ben kodesh
Blessed is God, ruler of the universe, who separates sacred from profane, light from darkness, the 7 days of rest from the 6 days of labor. Blessed is God,
Blessed is the Lord our God, ruler of the universe.
Ben yom
Separates sacred from profane,
l'shet
light from
yamei
darkness, the 7th day of rest from the 6 days of labor.
Baruch
Blessed is the Lord who
atah
separates sacred
Adonai Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Temple Israel has done everything for me. I've spent my life here. I met my husband here. We have been married 64 years. And our children were bar mitzvahed here, bat mitzvahed here, married here. And our granddaughter, Brigitte, and Shannon, I'm proud to say, works in the day school. She's on the day school staff, and that makes 4 generations of our family being active here.
Temple Israel of Hollywood really helped to save our lives. When my sister was killed, we needed a place where we could find a sense of community and support. And when Rabbi Rosov came to the house when we sat Shiva for Nina and offered a place for Philip and Laura in the schools at Temple Israel, I took it immediately because I knew that Temple Israel was a place that had a reputation as being not just spiritual but nurturing. And I thought that Philip and Laura needed that, and I don't think I realized how much I needed it too.
Temple Israel has given us as a family and Mitchell and me in our marriage a common ground. My husband was raised in an Orthodox home, and his rituals were very important to him. I didn't have the same kind of upbringing. I was raised in a Reform home. Because our kids are being educated at the day school at Temple Israel, they're learning rituals and prayers and customs that we as a family can embrace. It's given us a way to live Jewishly on a daily basis.
Temple Israel is not just a temple, it's a community. And when my son walks in, Temple Israel, he owns it. It's his home. And that's so important. It's the foundation for his strength and feeling about being Jewish that he'll carry for the rest of his life.
Oh, I think of the temple as a second home for my family. We don't have family in Los Angeles, and it's created a family here for us. Our best friends are there. My children's closest friends are there.
Well, I think you just have to walk into Temple Israel. Sorry. And get that wonderful feeling of love.
We found a lifetime of friendships there. It's where we feel the most comfortable of any institution that I can think of.
We have a beautiful temple, a compassionate temple, a loving temple, and a temple that wants to teach you and give to you. And you listen to the beautiful music and to the beautiful history of the Jewish life, and you never forget it.
We give thanks for the Sabbath day that now is ending. May something of its meaning and message remain with us as we enter the new week, lifting all that we do to a higher plane of holiness and inspiring us to work with a new heart for the coming of the day when Elijah's spirit will herald a new redemption from all sadness and every bondage.